Welcome to For the Record. I'm Carlos Flores, and today a celebration of Pride in Pittsburgh. As Pride Month continues, last week's Pittsburgh Pride event drawing thousands to the city. Today I speak with the folks behind Q-Burg, a news source for our region's LGBTQ+ community. Let's begin by bringing in one of the Q-Burg's co-founders, Jeff Friedman. Now, I do want to start out with Q-Burg and its origin. Talk to me a little bit about the creation behind y'all's organization, and I guess, and the mission behind it.
Right. So we started Q-Burg, Jim Shepard and I, you had seen earlier, with Jim Shepard as a co-creator. We were on a board together, and we were just talking about the lack of a resource for the LGBTQ community here in Pittsburgh. So we thought that we could do something with having no prior knowledge of how to even do a social media channel or how to do a social media website. And we just came up with it, said, let's just do it. So we kind of threw our feet into it, threw our whole body into it, and started out with it, with a name. Like, what was a great name that would represent Pittsburgh? What would be a, so there were a lot of names going back and forth. So we settled on the Q-Burg, the letter Q for queer, obviously, and B-U-R-G-H. Which people forget the H all the time, so it's, you know. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and we decided, so we just jumped into it. So it was interesting with having no prior knowledge of this, and Jim's the smart one, I'm the pretty one. So he's the one that made all the magic happen. He's the one that does all the website, we got the domain, we got the social media channels, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, we're on, you know, look us up, right? So again, I'm a little bit older. That whole social media thing is kind of like beyond my expertise. So he makes the magic happen, and we launched. And we actually launched on October 11th, which is National 2020 during a pandemic. Like, what did we have better to do during a pandemic than to launch a website, right? So we launched the website on National Coming Out Day, and since then it's been an incredible journey. So it'll be 6 years in October.
And getting to that point, 6 years since y'all decided to take on this huge feat.
Yeah.
Starting a news publication or just being able to keep up with everything that's happening going on.
Correct.
It's a huge task. And kind of talk to me about, how do you view the growth y'all have been able to really achieve, and where do you feel like those next steps are for you?
Right. Well, I think that one of my proudest moments of Qburg.com is when we first crashed. Because we got a lot of visitors. It was right before Pride Day. And we kind of crashed, which is great. We had way more visibility than we thought, a lot more hits than we thought. So Jim was up all night right before Pride, made it happen, and we were back up and running, and now we will never crash again, hopefully. But we've seen the incredible growth that we've had through everything. We have a great message. We have an empowering message for people. We have a great audience out there that's passionate about our rights, our civil rights, where we're going with this future. So we have an engaged audience as well. And that's where our strength and our power comes from. We've grown exponentially each year. It's incredible. We now have an office downtown, which is way fun. We do our podcast. We have a podcast studio that we have access to. We have reporters. We have incredible reporters out there. As we grow and we represent our community, you know, our face changes, you know, like anytime you look at our community, we hope that you see your face as part of that messaging that we're giving out. So we have an incredible staff. Everybody at Q-Burg is part of the community. You know, it's the stories by us, for us. And I think that's where our strength comes from. Because when we tell a story, we're telling it from our heart. And that reaches an audience.
And where do you feel that next step could be moving forward?
Well, it's interesting because even with like Pride Days, we look at the growth. If the growth is with our allied community, if the growth is with those that are coming in to seek more information, that are interested or might have something where it affects their lives, that they're looking for information. That's where our next step is. In helping provide that information, providing those resources that answer those questions that people may have. So yeah, and who knows what's going to happen? We don't even know the direction. Someone comes up with a great idea and we're there. You know, as long as it reaches the audience and tells a great story and is informative, we want it. And we're lucky. We're lucky to have great people behind us and passionate people. And I think that's the wonder of Kuberg, is that we're all passionate about what we do.
And zooming out in terms of, I know Kuberg is one of several organizations and businesses in the community that are owned by the LGBTQ plus community or just support the LGBTQ plus community, excuse me. Talk to me about the importance of having all these organizations available here and just ready to help, and what does that really do for folks living here across Pittsburgh?
Right. Well, visibility matters. Visibility matters, right? To be visible, to be LGBTQ. You know, we have a lot of businesses and organizations that are gay-owned that we can help spotlight. We want to get that in there. So we want to help the community grow, and through that growth is where the community grows, where our acceptance grows, and where everything is going to be wonderful for Pittsburgh and beyond.
And when you view the discussion of pride in general, how do you feel that has really evolved over the last few years, or even the last decade, or even the last year?
Right.
How do you view that evolution here in the Steel City?
Okay, so pride is my heart, my soul. It is the most thing I'm most passionate about. I've been on the Pittsburgh Pride Committee now 21 years. So started off as the chair, where we set up our festival in the Riverfront Park in between Acrisure Stadium, still Heinz Field, and the PNC Park, right, that little park. So we would set up and have to take down, this is 2005 and 2006. We would have to set up and take down that morning and take down. 1 year, 5 o'clock, there was a baseball game. We had to be off by 5 o'clock. But at the time, we only had probably about maybe 25, 30 vendors. Look at Pride now. Look at it. In 21 years, where we're at. We now, Jim and I we are co-chairs of the March/Parade. We alone had 136 contingents in the parade itself. We had thousands and thousands of marchers, right? So look at that, right? You're talking about something that's like a little fizzy into something like a giant rocket that just took off. And it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, I love Pride. The feeling of Pride, the growth of Pride is wonderful. Like I always said, you feel Pride. You feel it.
And to that point, I did some research, and I wanted to, so knowing that the first Pride Parade in Pittsburgh was in 1973.
Correct.
About
long one.
It was about 150 people, from what I've read, that showed up and participated.
Correct.
Looking at what the Pride Parade was this year, 300,000 people.
Yeah.
When you were out there probably navigating, getting everyone settled in, ready to rock, when you were able to zoom back, did you ever kind of sit and go, wow? In comparison?
I won't tell you what experience I have at that moment, but it's something. It's an incredible, yeah. You look back at it, and back then in 1973, they were in Market Square. They kind of rallied, and they walked all the way to Shenley Park, which is, about 3 miles or so up, and it's uphill, right? So, and it was a protest. Back then, it was more of a protest. What I love about Pittsburgh Pride and what we've done, we remember that it was a protest. We remember that it was something to be angry about. I mean, Pride was a riot. Stonewall was a riot, right? Stonewall was the catalyst for the gay movement, for the gay revolution. So we remember that as being a riot, right? And people came out to the streets with picket signs and angry and marching and all that. And what we love about Pittsburgh is that we have a Pride/Parade. So we remember that we were a protest. And so anybody that wants to march in the parade can march first. It's a march, right? So when we start the parade, it starts off and it's a protest. But we're also celebratory, because the fact is that we've come a long way. You know, we've come a long way, so we remember that, or we celebrate that. So there's a little bit of a gap, not a gap, but like we have the flags that come out, you know, that do the Pittsburgh Color Guard that do such an incredible job, that come out waving all their flags, and then the celebratory stuff comes. And that's where we have then all of our LGBTQ groups that march, and then all of our companies and corporate sponsors and stuff, or sponsors, small businesses, last. So they all march in celebration of all of us. And that's where the 136 contingents came in at the end, which was incredible, incredible, incredible. So yeah, do we see the growth? Do we see where we're at? Back from the past, did I ever think that any of this would be possible? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And personally, how does that make you feel?
For living a life where you never thought that you would be accepted and always have to live in a shadow, to all of a sudden be in the spotlight. I mean, look at these are pretty bright lights, right? So, I mean, this is wonderful for me, for our community. We're not done yet. There's a lot more acceptance. Like let's not be stupid, right? We do realize that there's still a struggle. We can still get fired in the state of Pennsylvania for being gay. Let's not stop. There's still a road. And that road is still there. And hopefully, we will achieve it. May not be in my lifetime, but to see the changes that I've had, like, I got married. Who would have thunk that, right? But yeah, it's been a wonderful, I'm so glad I lived in this lifetime because I've seen the growth, I've seen all that happen. And it makes me more and more happy for those that are growing up that didn't have the struggles that I did with coming to deal with my sexuality and the people around me accepting my sexuality. I mean, we still have people around us that won't accept us, that don't want to be around us and stuff. And so slowly, though, we're hopefully building those bridges to a time when, who knows? I mean, they always, maybe Pride will just be a festival. Well, it is, but I mean, but it means so much to so many people.
Still ahead on For the Record.
June is like my Christmas, my Thanksgiving, my Halloween. It's honestly my favorite time of the year.
More on this month's celebration of Pride in Pittsburgh and the reflections on what our city can do to become more welcoming to the LGBTQ+ community. Welcome back. I want to continue my conversation now about Pride in Pittsburgh by bringing in Jim Shepard, the other co-founder of QBurg. So I first kind of want to start out with, it is Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
It's a very exciting time for the Pittsburgh community, of course. I do want to start out with talking a little bit about the resources and the availability that folks in Pittsburgh really have access to.
Right.
Can you kind of dive into what you have noticed recently that has become available for the LGBTQ+ community, and how has that really evolved over the last few years?
Absolutely. We've seen so many organizations pop up in the last few years supporting the LGBTQ community of Pittsburgh. There's Proud Haven. They're an LGBTQ focused on youth homelessness. There's Hugh Lane Wellness Foundation, which really helps with resources on like food availability and connecting to health. And there's Trans Uniting, who focuses on trans and intersex issues for the community. And there's just so many different things. And here at QBurg, we're the LGBTQ newspaper for Pittsburgh. We try to keep track of that and make sure that's in our directory. But it's so hard because there's so many new things popping up left and right.
And when you look at it the way things are today, how does that make you feel, seeing just that evolution just happen kind of in real time?
It's really incredible, because I can remember even when I was growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, not to age myself or anything, but it felt like maybe there wasn't a lot, or maybe I just was unaware of it. So to see so much all over the place is really, affirming and brings like a warmness to your heart for everybody.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, you are also the commissioner for the Human Rights Relations Commission, or at least the commissioner for that regard. I kind of want to dive into the city of Pittsburgh in particular.
Yeah.
I know that Pittsburgh has taken strides in their own right to become more and more inclusive over the last few years. Kind of talk to me about kind of how do you view the job that Pittsburgh has done in particular to helping folks in the LGBTQ plus community, and there's some room to grow.
Oh yeah, and the last few mayors, starting I think with Bill Peduto and then moving through Ed Gainey and now Mayor O'Connor, they all have a commission on LGBTQ affairs within the city of Pittsburgh, and they're really focused on addressing issues that pop up over time and making sure that the city is welcoming to the LGBTQ community. We've seen city council in the last few years add trans and those issues to protections within the city of Pittsburgh, so you can't be discriminated against for housing or public accommodations. So everyone's working really, really hard, but you know, it's a kind of a difficult political climate right now, at least nationally, a bit statewide, and everything we can do here locally to make up for, we'll say, the lack of support nationally was really helpful.
And from what I understand, the Human Rights Municipality Index gave Pittsburgh a 100, a perfect score.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, and that just shows the availability and resources for folks in the area. Knowing that getting an A is great, what do you feel could be that possible next step for the city?
Ooh, a next step. That's a good one. I need a second to even think about that.
That's all right, and even base it off your own personal experiences as well. What do you feel is missing that could even make your day-to-day even better, or people a part of this community just a little bit better?
Well, we see a lot of, you know, a need for focusing on our trans and our people of color brothers and sisters. You know, me, I have a whole lot of privilege as a pushing middle-aged white guy, but we really have to focus on making sure that our black and brown brothers and sisters feel like they're getting all the resources they need to make sure that this is a city that's welcoming to everybody. And I know Pittsburgh likes to call itself the most livable city in America, so that we need to strive to make sure that it actually is.
And I guess over time, especially when you view this month in particular, how do you view it? And I feel like what is maybe the message that's being lost in the middle, that for folks that probably are curious?
Right. So June is like my Christmas, my Thanksgiving, my Halloween. It's honestly my favorite time of the year because I feel like I get to have a family reunion with folks in the community that I haven't seen maybe all year. And, you know, Pittsburgh Pride was just, you know, this past weekend, and it was great to connect with everybody, but that's such a huge event. One of the great things that we've seen in the past few years is smaller Pride events popping up across the region. You know, in the little suburbs or the townships and boroughs, everyone's starting to have a Pride event where you can go to those. It's a little calmer, a little less loud, but you can connect with the community, see other people that are just like you, or maybe meet someone who's brand new and different than you, and really celebrate that diversity.
And just to know that it's kind of, not to say spreading, but they're seeing some of that openness really kind of spread across the community. What is that? How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel ecstatic because, again, in the 90s, it didn't seem like there was that much visibility for the LGBTQ community that I was aware of. But seeing it spread, I grew up in Brookline. Brookline's going to have their first Pride coming up in September. So not only is it spreading regionally, it's spreading across the calendar.
And specifically speaking on Q-Burg in general, I know y'all really try to track down the news for the LGBTQ plus community and things that pertain to them on a day-to-day. Talk to me about, I guess, the challenges you all kind of face on kind of getting this news out there and the importance behind just making sure it's out there.
Right. So, you know, the importance of LGBTQ media is astounding because, you know, you're not going to cover, you know, the latest drag queen that won a local pageant or anything like that. That might not matter to a huge range of your audience, but that really matters to a lot of the LGBTQ community. So we focus on those smaller stories that kind of have that niche audience. And, you know, not always do we get all the funding that we need. We need more advertisers and sponsors to support us. Like we mentioned earlier, right now nationally, there's kind of a pushback against the community. So when that happens, some corporate dollars back away a little bit. So that's challenging. We don't have a lot of syndication service, right? So, you know, mainstream media has the AP and all that stuff, but we don't really have that as a service. So we really have to pay attention, keep our ear to the ground, and make sure that we're covering things that affect our community. And
you mentioned a little bit of that concern about the pushback we're seeing nationally in a lot of ways. From a local perspective, what do you view as what the community can do in situations like that, where they are feeling some of this pushback.
Right. So with Pittsburgh Pride, there was a lot of pullback on corporate dollars sponsoring the event. But one of the most fantastic things that we saw this year was the community really stepped up. Smaller organizations like, how can we help? We'll donate $200, we'll give $2,000. So all together, working together, this community supported itself and pulled off the biggest pride that the city's ever had.
Keep it here on For the Record, because coming up, I've got this week's final word. Welcome back to For the Record. And before we go, I want to bring Jeff Friedman back in for this week's final word as we reflect on this month's celebrations of Pride. When you look at something like Pride Month being in June, of course, like any other celebratory month happening across the year, it can be celebrated throughout the entire year. But for folks at home, what do you want them to take away from Pride Month in general, and how can they kind of carry it forward into the rest of the year?
Right. So my dad always had this saying, right? When I came out and all that, he was asked about, how do you feel about your son being gay? And he says, well, I don't know, because I never had to answer that question. It wasn't in my circle. And we talk about circles, right? And gay was never in his circle. So all of a sudden he said it came into my circle and I had to have an opinion about it, right? So if this isn't in your circle, then come to a Pride festival. There's now, we say there's thousands around here now, which is great. I mean, I'm a Gateway grad, so there's even Monroeville has a Pride now. So come to Monroeville Pride. But anyways, come to a Pride. Come see, come experience. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun, a lot of great energy there. And yeah, and do research, or just get out there. Look at Q-Burg, right? We have Q-Burg. We have a great resource for everyone. So, please ask questions. Nobody in our community is afraid of an honest question, right? As long as you ask us a question and you're sincere about it, yes, thank you for asking the questions.
And we want to thank Jeff Freeman and Jim Shepard for coming in for today's show. And that's all for this installment of For the Record. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Sunday morning at 11 a.m.